This is GMATS 41. You are welcome to our statistics class. In this video, we are going to look at the topic measures of location, also known as central tendency. When you hear about measures of location in statistics, or perhaps in mathematics, what comes to your mind? These are simply statistical measures used to locate the center of the distribution, the middle of the distribution. So the statistical tools we use to obtain, to identify, to locate the center of the distribution is what we call what? Measures of location. There are three most important of them: the mean, the mode, the median. When we talk about the mean, apart from the general mean that we are used to, we're talking about add all the items, divide by the number of items. We also have two other averages, two other means, which we call the geometric mean and the harmonic mean. We are going to discuss all of them in this course, or in this topic, geometric and harmonic mean. Now we start first by talking about the arithmetic mean. We use x bar to represent it. Arithmetic mean, x bar. And it is also called the mean, simply. It is defined as the sum of all the items divided by the number of items. And that is actually an average. And so we can define it as the average of the sum of all the items in a given distribution. Now we have an example. Imagine that you have x1, x2, x3 down to xn, and you have to find the arithmetic mean. All you need to do is to add the x's and then divide by the number of the x's you have there. Is that okay? These x's, when problems are given to you, actually represent numbers. So if you have something like 1, 3, 2, 5, say you should find the mean. So you add 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 5 and divide by how many digits you have there? 4. So you divide by 4 and you get the mean. Now this can be written in condensed form using the sigma sign. The sigma sign, this is called summation. We use it for summation rather. Okay? So a Greek symbol, sigma. Now if you look at this simply means sum. That is, add up all the x values. This xi, I means 1, 2, 3. That's x1, x2, x3. Add all of them together and divide by the number of observations, the number of items in that distribution. Ranging from I, that is starting from I equal to 1, which is the first value of the variable, down to the last value of the variable n. Please take note that this formula for calculating mean is for ungrouped data, and not just for ungrouped data, but when the frequency is not given to you. Now let us consider a case where you are asked to find the mean, and then for that ungrouped data, their frequencies are given. How do you determine the mean there? In that case, we talk about the weighted mean. Look at it. The weighted mean. Still from group data, but this time around frequency is given. So how do you obtain the mean in that case, which we call the weighted mean? So look at the formula. You are going to multiply the x value by its corresponding frequency, and then add up everything and divide again by addition of the frequencies. Does that make sense? So let me just quickly show you something. Imagine you have x values and you have f here, and then this is 1, 2, this is 3, this is 1, this is 5, this is 3, for example. So these are the variate values, the value of the variables. These are the number of times they occur in the distribution. So to calculate the mean here, we'll talk about the weighted mean. It's going to be 1 times 2, you get your x1 times f1. Then 3 times 1, you get your x2 times f2. Then 5 times 3, you get your what? x3 times f3, okay? So once you do that, you divide everything by the summation of the frequency, which means you need to add up all the frequencies. Is that okay? In condensed form, using the sigma sign, that is summation sign, look at it. Is that okay? That's summation xi, fi divided by summation f. Now, take note, please. This is also on group data, but you want to take note of this. The xi value here represents the variate value given to you. That is the value of the variables given to you directly from the question. It's very important you take note of that, because you know what? I'm going to tell you, this formula will still encounter it for grouped data. But the difference between how you apply that formula to how you apply it here is this xi. Hold on. We are going to look at that when we discuss our grouped frequency distribution. Now we want to talk about the mean for grouped frequency distribution. That's group data. Now the body, we have the formula. It's given as x bar equal to summation xi times fi with the value of I ranging from 1 down to n, depending on the number of items given to you, divided by summation f. That's summation fi. It's written here that this formula is for grouped data. Now I quickly want to remind you of that formula for calculating weighted mean for ungrouped data given frequency. Did you take note that that formula is the same as equation 3 here? And what's the difference between these two formulae? The difference is how to obtain your xi. Here for group data, xi is the midpoint. Xi is the class mark of the distribution given you. You know your grouped data, right? You have your table, and your class mark is obtained from sum of the class limits divided by 2, or you can use sum of the class boundaries divided by what? 2. You get your class limit. But for ungrouped data with frequency, you notice that your xi is not class mark there. It's not midpoint, but what? The variate values directly. Alright, now there is a method of obtaining our mean. We call it the assumed mean, or the working mean, or the arbitrary mean method. Alright, the pointer is that in this case you use an assumed value which you call A. This method sometimes is conveniently used in a case whereby the value of the x's given to you are too large, or they consist of decimal numbers. And in such a case, if you're obtaining the product f times x, this product, alright, if you're obtaining it, or perhaps if the distribution involves data, you're trying to obtain f times x, the process might be too boring or rigorous to work on. So for that case, you might choose to use the assumed mean method. And the assumed mean method, you have the formula here. This first one, which of course is the same as this, okay, this is the case where frequency is not given. And this is the case where frequency is given. This summation j, don't go and think that this j is a variable or a variable value. No, this is actually summation f. Is that okay? We are only saying from a particular value 1 down to any particular number of variables given to you, just like you have xi. Is that okay? Good. The formula is actually sum f times x minus a. That's the point there. So if you look at this, you have to obtain x minus a, and this x minus a is actually deviation from the mean values, or deviation from the varied values rather. That's what this represents. So you need to memorize the formula when there is frequency and when there is no frequency, both for ungrouped frequency distribution. Then we can extend this to what we call the coding method. Is that okay? But don't forget, this can be used both for what grouped and what ungrouped data because of this frequency here. The only difference is what your x represents. I've explained that before. In the coding method, all we need to do is to represent the quantity xj minus a, that is x minus a, this. We represent it with xj minus a divided by class width. This c there is class width. So if you replace this whole term, okay, with x minus a divided by class width, that's the kind of coming here to divide it by what? C. You work on this formula, this is what you're going to get. Then divide everything by summation of the frequency multiplied by the class width. Once again, if we call all these terms, look at it. This term that is xj minus a divided by c, the class width. If we happen to call it u, it means that this formula becomes summation f times u, everything divided by what? Summation of frequency times the class mark. Now how do we work on all these things? Just take notes. In order to solve this, you have to construct a table for them. Are you getting me? So as to evaluate these things neatly. We're going to consider all this as we look forward to taking questions in the next video. Alright, now we have this question on the board. Suppose the daily expenses of 5 students are as follows: 100 naira, 115 naira, 90 naira, 110 naira, and 120 naira. Calculate the mean daily expenses of the students in naira. So we are to obtain the mean daily expenses of the students. Of course, you know this is the item given to you. So we have 100, 115, and up to 120. And at the mean, you know, is summation of all the items. Is that not so? That is summation xi from I equal to 1 down to n all over n. Here there is no frequency for this distribution. Is that okay? No frequency is given. It's just the varied values directly. So we're going to add all the xi's given here, which are 100, 115, 90, 110, and 120. We're going to divide it by how many are they? 5. Okay, so that your mean daily expenses will now be, let us solve that out and see, 100 plus 115 plus 90 plus 110, then plus 120. If you add that, that is 535 divided by 5. Okay, it's given me the daily average expenses to be 107 naira. Okay, so this is the daily expenses of the students, 107 naira. We have this question number 2 on the board. The table below shows the number of children in different families, and there is the table. We have the number of children, we have the different families, there's number of families. You notice like there is a family that has no child. 2 different families have 1 child each. 4 families have 2 children each, in that order. So the number of children here represents a variate value, XR. And the frequency, or the number of families that have this number of children, represent our frequencies, FR. Now, you notice that in solving this, we are asked to determine the mean of the distribution. I already started solving it by first bringing out what? The table. Since this is a distribution that has frequency, and it's on grouped distribution, so what do? You notice that the mean, recalling from our previous formula that we established, that the mean is equal to summation xi times fi divided by what? Summation fi. So what does that mean? It simply means that we are going to find our xi times fi. Now we have our xi here, we have our fi here. So we're going to multiply this value by this value, we get our xi fi. For example, in the first one, 0 times 1 will give us 0. We have 1 times 2 will give us 2. We have 2 times 4 will give us 8. In that order down to 7 times 1, you get 7. Now, knowing that the formula for calculating mean in this case is equal to summation xi fi with I equal to 1 down to n divided by summation fi. Alright? It means that we need to go to the column of xi fi and sum up everything, which I already did, and I got what? 48. So this is going to be equal to 48 all over summation frequency, look at it, that is 15. That simply tells you that altogether here there are 15 families that was actually surveyed to know the number of children they have. Now once you do the summation of frequency, it tells you the number of the distribution you're dealing with. So here there were actually 15 families that were surveyed to know how many children each of them has. Okay, so if you divide 48 by 15, what will you get? So you're going to punch your calculator there. If you press that, 48 divided by 15, it's giving us 3.2. So the average number of children that a family has is actually approximately equal to 3. You know that the number of children cannot be half. And so we are going to make it whole. That is 3 children per family. That's the average. And this is the solution to this problem. We have question number 3 on the board. From table 2A of this course of a sample of 45 randomly selected students in a statistics examination, calculate the mean score of the students. You would recall a past table we established for grouped frequency distribution, 45 randomly selected students score, and then we have been referred to that table to calculate the mean score of the student. In solving solution, you have to generate a table. So let's assume you have the raw data given to you in that problem. You know how we generate that table using the raw data. But if you are formulating the table, what do you need? You need the scores, you need a frequency, which you know that we generated the score from the class width. You recall that table, right? So you can check your previous work, you know. Now, we generated the class score from the class width, and then we counted the number of scores that fall within a given range, within a given interval. That gave us what? The frequency. We got the class boundary, the class mark. And now you know that for you to calculate mean for a group frequency distribution, it has this formula summation xi fi all over, that is I equal to 1 down to n all over summation fi. This is the formula, right? Which means since we have this table, this column, we have this column, we have this column of class boundary. You need the column of class mark, because class mark for group frequency distribution is what represents our what? Xi, the class mark. And how do you get class mark? Either you add lower and upper class boundary divided by 2, or you add lower and upper class mark divided by what? 2. You get the class marks. This one is class limits rather. Is that okay? So you add up this plus this. Like the first one, 50 plus 54 divided by 2, you get 52. The second one, 55 plus 59 divided by 2, you get 57. The same thing, you could have used these class boundaries, alright, to get your class mark. Your class mark, also known as midpoint, is your xi for group frequency distribution. So, all you need to do using this formula now is to multiply your xi, is that okay? You multiply your xi by fi. So these are the two columns you really need. Is that okay? So you multiply this value by this value. For example, 156 is obtained from 3 times 52. Okay, look at this 670 is obtained from 10 times 67, you get 670. What about this 174? It is 2 times 87, you get 174. Then because of this formula, you need to sum up every xi, fi, and sum up your what? Fi as well too. So you come to this, sum up everything you have in this column. That will give us 3085. That is 3085. Then sum your frequencies, you get 45. Of course, you see that the summation of the frequency gave us the number of students in that exam. Okay, so having obtained this, I've completed the table, and so we can now substitute here. SIFI is 3085 divided by summation FI is 45. And so your X bar, that is the mean, will now be, let's divide 3085 divided by 45. Okay, it's giving me 68.55555. So I'll approximate to 68.6. 68.6%. So this is the average score, the mean score of these students in this statistic examination.